It's 6 degrees outside, it's raining, which is the reason why I'm wearing my cap. And tonight I'm gonna go into the city of Amsterdam to shoot with the low light King combo.
Oh shit, it's the A7S!
That's right, I'm shooting with the A7S, the first one by the way, which is kind of, it's a good camera, but it's missing the in-body stabilization. But that's okay, I have a camera stand with me, right there, attached to my camera bag. Anyhow, I'm going into the city, to the darkest corners, to see how well this low light King holds up. See if I can spot Batman along the way as well. Because rumors have been going around that this lens camera combo can see in the dark like night vision. So yeah, let's get going. Oh, by the way, shout out to Sony. You know what Holland lacks? You know what Holland lacks? You know what Holland lacks? Beautiful cars. That's what Holland lacks. I mean, it's all the same. BMWs, Audis, standard buses. But what? But what is this? But what is this? Oh my god. It's like good timing. Just got my new lens and I just spotted my favorite car. Fairlady Z 350. Beautiful baby. wearing my cap because it's I have a really bad hair day today, so that's why I just had to justify that. Alright guys and gals, that was my montage of the A7S and the
Mitakon Speedmaster Pro
at f0.95. I shot the whole video at f0.95 because that's really the only way to expose the lens's flaws and its great strengths that it does have. The lens new, I believe, is 850 euros. I got it for 550, and I believe around that price of 550 is really worth it, but at around 850 you might want to consider getting the Sonnar, depending on how much sharpness you want and what you want to get out of your lens. I mean, like, this lens is not trying to be the perfect lens. It doesn't have a lot of contrast wide open. It does have great colors, which the Sonnar does not have, and there were a lot of flares. Literally all the lights that I had in focus wide open, they were all flaring to the max, and that can, in certain situations you don't want that. You just want a clean image, and then maybe later on you want to add flares with optical flares or some other flare program like J.J. Abrams always does in Star Trek. But in certain situations it can actually create really intense and dramatic scenes and dramatic images. I mean, I took a couple of photos at this rock concert, and basically these flares were just enhancing the image and were enhancing the emotion on stage. So it's an artistic lens. I mean, you're not gonna buy this lens to get 100% clinical images. You're gonna want to buy the Sonnar for around the same price, and you're also buying this lens for f0.95. And basically at that aperture, it did have some purple fringing and a chromatic aberration at certain highlights of the image. If you would be focusing like in the lights in the distance at f0.95, you're gonna get some purple fringing when the lights are in focus, but you're not shooting landscapes and lights in the distance anyways at f0.95. You're either gonna be shooting at f4 or way up f8 even. And the chromatic aberration completely disappears and purple fringing completely disappears at f2. And the contrast is also even increased at that aperture. But again, you're gonna buy this lens because it shoots at f0.95. And I believe this is the most awesome thing about this lens. Like, if there's a subject 5 meters in front of you, like let's say a person or a beautiful girl, or I don't know, just a model or something, then if you shoot at f0.95 you can completely isolate them from the landscape. It's like they pop in a certain 3D kind of feeling out of the image, and you can achieve the same effect with like a Samyang 85mm f1.4, but you're gonna get a way narrower image out of an 85mm. And there's just something about having a wide angle of view and isolating your subject from a landscape. It just creates this, I don't know, very personal and intimate feeling of the image. And there's just no other lens so far that I've tested that does this. The Sonnar is famous for its 3D pop of having such a sharp image of the subject and still having a nice bokeh in the background, but this lens just creates this dreamy look that the Sonnar won't have. So it just really depends on what you want. You want the perfect lens that is like very analytical and technically awesome, or you want the artistic lens with awesome flares and just this dreamy look. f0.95 with the A7S, I mean, the T-stop of this lens I believe was T1.15, so you're not gonna get T0.95 with the Mitakon. It's not gonna be one stop lighter than f1.4 lens. Any photograph is like a Christmas photograph. That's the way you can look at it. So it's good for the holiday season as well. I want to criticize my own work by saying it was very jittery. I mean, all my shots were pretty like jittery. I had a very cheap tripod with me, and I didn't bring my shoulder rig because it was just extra baggage I couldn't carry around the city. I mean, I wanted to go to all the places, and I wanted to be very maneuverable. so I couldn't bring my shoulder rig. So I definitely need to work harder to get that to get the Ronin to stabilize my shots. But again, it was just a lens test, so I hope it wasn't too jittery. I used the warp stabilizer sometimes, like a couple of landscape shots, they were just too jittery, so don't blame the lens for weird like motion artifacts because of a warp stabilizer. In the intro, when I showcased the lens in an epic way, there were like background objects and stuff, so that's not really professional, but again, I'm just shooting this from my home and I don't really have any other option right now. But it's something to keep in mind for the future. And there was a couple of clipping going on because of the A7S. Like it has this blue clipping issue. When you're shooting this specific blue light, it goes into like overdrive. The sensor doesn't know what to do with it or something. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know what the science behind it is, but it creates this weird artifacting with the blue lights. Basically, a couple of shots were overexposed, which showcased my amateur level that I have with the A7S. I made these shutter speed mistakes because I was taking pictures and shooting video at the same time, so then you have to switch between shutter speeds a lot. So sometimes I forgot that, and there's this shutter artifacting going on if you're shooting indoors. Lights flickering at 50 Hz and shooting at a shutter with 250 creates these artifacts, so I have to watch that in the future as well. Again, all the camera work was handheld. I was using this neck strap to stabilize my shots a bit, but when you start walking with this heavy lens, it's just gonna be shaky all over. I left all the shots ungraded, and that way you were able to perceive the characteristics of the lens much better than if I would grade the footage. A couple of scenes in S-Log when I had the chance. I didn't have an ND filter, so I wasn't able to use S-Log with certain situations because you're shooting at f/0.95. So I shot at the neutral film setting, everything on -3. Only in certain conditions where it was just extreme low and light, I bumped up the sharpness from -3 to -1 in camera, because the camera films at 15 megabits per second XAVC codec. It doesn't shoot in ProRes unless you get the external recorder, of course. But because of that, I think if you bump some settings in the camera a little bit higher, you can get nicer grading results later on, depending on what you want with your shot. I've been out of the editing scene and filmmaking scene for quite some time now, but I'm back, mentally stable and physically stable, healthy, so I have all the motivation now to keep going, to keep making videos. And this was a really nice beginning. I mean, I went in the city and so many random things happened, and so much life. There was so much life in the city, and I really enjoyed that. And I guess the part that I really like about filmmaking is that, like, when I have a vision, I can use these tools, use the camera as a tool, use the editing process as a tool, to translate those visions on a screen, and then the viewer can see those visions and create a whole new space of thought and inspiration of thought from those from that film. And I guess that's really why I love filmmaking. It's like indirectly transferring my vision to someone else's mind and create something completely new by inspiring them. And I think that's the main reason why I want to be a filmmaker. I mean, I also have a tattoo on my back, so that just showcases how serious I'm about filmmaking as well. But I'm moving away from Iguana Productions towards a new channel pretty soon as well. And I already have a new name for it, and I'm probably gonna make it a official company as well. But basically, I'm not gonna promise any days, I'm not gonna set any deadlines. I've made that mistake countless times before, basically being stuck in my own imagination and creating ideas upon ideas and never finishing a project. But like right now things are moving and I have plans, and I just want to make my dreams come true. And, thank you for watching, and have a great Christmas and a happy New Year, everyone. Love you all.
Jamona!